For this knife, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of work to get these knots looking okay, but they don't have to be accurate though. Okay, so whenever I'm tasked with working with some kind of knot, I mean, usually what I like to do, I would say a good strategy here to start off with is, you know, we're looking for circle shapes here, so let's make a sphere, but let's not give it a lot of resolution. We just need a little bit, like this. And what I like to do, let's just soften this out. Okay, sometimes softening shapes can give you something simple to work with there. Actually, let me just get like one. There we go. Not bad. Okay, and I like to grab, let's do a torus, because I want a little bit of depth to this, or a little bit of roundness to this rope. Actually here, I'm gonna do section radius like this. I want it to kind of be a little thin. I don't need height divisions, so those can go down. And this, once again, this is me just starting off with the right shape, right? So make your decisions and think about it, okay? And then, you know, I'm just going to grab some shapes like this and just pull it up and get like more of a kind of band look. Actually, yours, you're using parachute cord here, so we actually do have a little bit more of a cylindrical shape to it, actually, so scratch that. I'm actually just going to increase the radius so we get something big. And you know, I would just try my very best to wrap some of these guys around. You know, grab a. Let me duplicate this guy so I can just reuse him. So do a little soft select, increase the brush size there. Just kind of take some shapes and do some different things. Try to occupy that ball, though. You know, let's start off with a different angle this time. Get a little soft select here, and we'll push it down a little bit. I'm gonna pull with translate. I don't want to scale, because once again, if I scale this guy around, then that rope's gonna get like fatter. You know, it's gonna get thicker, and that's not something I want for it to look like there. So yeah, my soft select is a little bit intense here. We'll tighten this guy up over on this side. I'll soften this guy up. Ooh, what happened? Why did that happen? I don't understand. What is going on? I just softened the shape. What happened? Good gravy. Maya, you silly thing. No, I'm just gonna do this. We're just gonna rotate around and have some fun here. Why is it doing that too? I feel like I feel justified saying this, because there should be some stuff that's going on that's not going on. Let's rotate around. Just get some different shapes in there, pretty much. It's not going to be the best. and it's not going to be perfect. But, you know, this is how I would do a knot like that, especially if it's really if it's really tightly wound and bound. Freeze my transforms on these guys and delete history here. Find some different angles to cover this thing with. And just see if you can just get some good coverage on this thing. You with me so far, Cedric? Just want to make sure that things are making sense here. You know, get some different overlaps in there too. You can kind of overlap on one side and tuck in on the other side, kind of thing. You know, if you see something that looks really nasty, try to cover it up. And, you know, don't feel bad about like coming in here and squeezing some of these shapes to be tighter. Covering up some of that intersection that's happening there. Like, I don't know. There's a little bit going on for this one. There's a little bit of chaos going on there. I don't know, this looks like some kind of gum wad right now. I'm not too happy with it. Not 100% happy with this guy. Good. Alright, so... let me try... oops, I'm still on height. Just taking a little bit of resolution off of this thing, but I feel like I need more resolution and bigger shapes now. This is gonna be where I want to push things a little more. I'm gonna try to just like flatten it out on the inside here, like this. Because, you know, things are not really... they're not really as messy as I think I thought that they were. You know, you could definitely loop some things around for like this attachment here. And you guys always have deformers too, so that might even be something you may want to play around with here. I would like, you know, coming back to my Boy Scout days here, just do a little clove hitch kind of thing. This one needs to be a little bit more tightly wound, but I don't want to lose the width, so I want to just kind of scale it from this range right there instead. And you know what? I'll do us a little solid here and do a little extrusion with only one division. Crazies. And just kind of like wrap it around a little bit in the middle. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here with just one division. Wait, let me undo that just to make sure that my extrusion's doing the right thing. Why, man? Oh my goodness. So just a little slope, just to kind of squeeze this rope around that knot there. And actually what I'm going to do too here is I'm going to do a little soft select and just kind of tighten anymore. Just kind of tighten my shape up there. Bring this guy down. it out a little more. You know, just give it a little bit of depth. And then, you know, basically what I'm getting out of this afterwards is I'm probably going to get some cylinders coming out of this thing. So this is actually going to be the rope. Give it the same thickness that you gave to that Taurus, basically. And you're just going to stab it in there. You have 2 pieces of parachute cord coming out of that thing, so this is kind of what that knot is going to look like. But, you know, I would obviously like extrude along a curve for that. I mean, that's a good start to this thing. We can, I think, you know, there's a little bit of overlapping happening here though. So maybe I'll do something like this where instead of, I'm just going to push that one up. And maybe do something like this right here where we're getting like a little bit of overlap happening. This kind of makes it look a little more organic, I guess, so. That's all you really need, I think. Soften that shape out. Yeah. This looks a lot better than this. Try those strategies out. I mean, the end of that lanyard, I mean, they probably have different knots at the end. Most people just kind of burn the ends off there. Let's push this guy in. A little more. You know, this guy can be at an angle too. And if this guy's going into that loop, yeah, because he's going into that guy right there, and it's actually, I'm actually getting a lot more pinching in the middle. Oh, I'm gonna do a deformer here. Because let's say that I'm, you know, I want this guy to be, let's make a pipe. I'm gonna make a pipe, that way we have like a hole for this guy to go into. You know, your knife is probably already doing this, so no worries on that. Probably not this thick. You know, probably something like that too. Maybe a little bit thinner in here. What the heck? There we go. All right, so now that I have my little reference point there, I'm gonna grab these 2 guys and do a, let's do the flare deformer. I'm just gonna spin this guy to the side. There we go. And I'm just going to come in here to the curve in the middle and just kind of curve it out. And we can do end flare, start flare kind of deformations just to make this guy kind of pinch and squeeze in different proportions there. So now, you know, this guy is gonna compress a little bit in the middle here, but flare out a little more. We can adjust the high bound and low bound of this guy to kind of have the curvature in the right spot. You know, do it till it looks good to you. delete history when you're done. I feel like I need to grab these guys and kind of pull it in a little bit more. Let me just combine this shape. I just want to work with it together here. And honestly, I'm just going to grab the inside here and see if I can close this gap up. Because I think that's what looks the worst right now, is just the fact that we have like this huge gap right here. We can come in here and just kind of close it up now. That seems good. Feel free to pull some of these, if you want a nice good crease, good looking crease in here, pull some of these guys out and get some better looking overlaps. That's something a little more convincing. I mean, a close-up of this guy may have you, maybe wanting to do like more of a figure 8 ball in the middle, where we kind of take some toruses. I would say probably extrude the middle of that torus. This extrusion tool, I need to just delete the preferences on it. I bump up the divisions one time and it's just like whammo. Put some divisions in the middle here. Kind of thin it up a little bit. Let's do like a soft select now where we thin up a little bit more. But the reference here is showing us some scenarios where we can kind of take this guy now. Shift and just kind of like, we can offset this guy. So, one of them's in, one of them's out kind of thing. Get a couple of shapes doing that, probably. Couple shapes doing this. It's gonna take a little work. I mean, if you actually get this thing looking like a nice rope ball though, you can go in and delete a lot of the inside and have a lot less geometry there to work with. Squeeze it in just a little bit. Little tiny deformations, not that big of a deal. There's a lot of like braiding going on with this though. There's a lot of tucking and offsetting. So honestly, I might recommend that you change the sides like every other shape or something. Just so you get like a pattern going. It might take you doing something like this here, where we're just kind of offsetting and intersecting and rotating at different angles and trying to make like a little pattern developing here. Go high, go low, go wide. Excuse me. I think eventually, you're going to get to a point where you're kind of blocking the interior, and then you just go in and start deleting edges and start moving things around. Let's go tall with 1, 2. But this actually isn't, coming out too bad, in my opinion. It looks like we're making a little bit of a pattern going on there. We get a little knot ball. You just stab, once again. Let me freeze these transforms, combine it together. Shrink the ball to be like, kind of the same proportion. Find like one of your openings and just like, go with it. That doesn't seem too bad right there. And have a just send more cylinders coming out the back. Roger. Oh, that's a tough one. I would advise you with those ropes to unitize the shapes to a nice straight line. That way you're getting the texture going in the right direction too. So if you get yourself a nice tiling rope texture going there, it'll UV and do the right thing there. Okay. And that is a rope ball and a rope attachment for a lanyard. That's the way I would go for it. If you want it to be a little bit flatter on the ends, just go in and I probably used a little bit too much geometry on these guys, but go in and delete some edge loops. It's probably too much. Maybe I just need to delete the ends or something. Little tiny shapes combined together.